Hello, aligned photographers. This is your host, Casey Louise. I'm an intimate motherhood photographer and photography educator based out of Seattle, Washington. And today is episode number 7 of the podcast, and I am loving it so far. I hope you are too. And I'm just so thankful for everyone who is listening and or watching. And this is really the podcast for, I say it's about photography, motherhood, and motherhood photography, all those things. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about all of those, to be honest, because I really wanted to talk about motherhood photography, like intimate motherhood photography, and capturing that and sharing those images online, and just how vulnerable that is, right? And how like sensitive that can be, and just really like how do you get people to show up in that way, right? To have more skin to skin, to do like these more vulnerable, intimate sessions, right? I wanted to talk about that. And then life happened this morning as a mom of 2 young kids, and I thought, what better than to share with you, my own personal experience, because that's really all I have, and what navigating all of this really looks like for me. So my daughter is 5.5 years old. Her birthday's in March. Right now, it is the middle of August. In fact, my son turns 2 next week. And my daughter has been with me. She's been with me the whole time. I started this journey, launching my business and getting into it when she was 1 years old, like right after her first birthday. And I've been so fortunate to build a career alongside having my babies at home with me. So neither one of my children have ever gone to full-time daycare. They've not ever really done anything, to be honest. We've had some family that has watched them on some Fridays. For a while, our nanny, we did a nanny share, was like every other Tuesday for a few hours with my daughter. And then sometimes going to the gym daycare, right, for just an hour so I can get a workout in. That's it. So there's been no preschool, there's been no like full-time daycare. She's been at home and she's been with me. And for a long time after I started my business, I'd say almost a full year after starting my business, I would bring her with me to sessions when I needed to, and I would have her on my back. Like I would literally have her in my Bjorn like carrier on my back. And that worked really well for a while because she was just my little like, what do we say, like kangaroo baby, koala baby. Like she just wanted to be on me. And as long as she was with me and on me, she was happy. So it made it pretty easy. Of course, also this is in the beginning, right? So it was like I wasn't charging what I charge now. And I think expectations were maybe not as high, if that makes sense. And it wasn't like, of course, I always wanted to give the best experience I possibly could, right? But it wasn't like premium luxury photography at that point. And so we got to a stage where I'll never forget it. She came with me to a motherhood session to capture a breastfeeding session because this mom felt like her baby was latching less and less, and she was worried like that their journey of breastfeeding was coming to an end. So she really wanted to get these like intimate photos of her and her baby and nursing and all the things. So we rented a studio, and I brought my daughter because I had to, and I was like, "Oh, this is Mia. Don't worry, like she hangs out on my back. She comes with me sometimes." Well, that day, it was not fine. That day, Mia absolutely wanted more attention than it was possible for me to give both my client and her. And my client really did deserve 100% of my attention, right? Like she's there, this is her experience, and I want to give her the experience that she's hoping for and that she's paid for, she's investing in. And so that day, my daughter, wanted snacks. She wanted down. She wanted to be included. And I did the best I could. And I absolutely still got like wonderful images for this mom and her baby. But at the end of the day, she did share with me like that it just wasn't the experience that she thought that she was getting. And I completely understand that. And, so we navigated that together. And I right then was like, I'm never bringing okay, that's it. Not bringing her with me ever again because I'm not ever going to do that again, right? Like my clients deserve 100% of my attention while I'm there. Fast forward to this morning. And I will say, after my son was born, when he was a itty bitty baby, like just within the first 2-ish, 3 months of his life, I took about 5 weeks off after I had him. And when I came back, I did bring him with me maybe just once or twice. But I also was just like, you know what? Like, and I'm very transparent. All of my clients, a lot of them follow me on social media and or have found me there. But even if they find me on my website, like I'm very transparent about the fact that I have two young children myself. And so they know that. They know that I'm in the thick of early motherhood right alongside them, which can be wonderful because it means that I really understand fully what they're going through. And it can mean that like I need a little bit more flexibility sometimes, right? Because I'm also navigating what my children need, which can change on a day-to-day basis. So other than that, I've not brought them with me until this morning. So my daughter is supposed to go to summer camp and we bought 4 days, just 4 days of summer camp. The reason why I bought this summer camp in particular is because they actually will reimburse you at the end of the summer for any days that you didn't utilize. Thank goodness for that because I think we're going to need a reimbursement. She has gone twice now. Both times she called me, wanted me to come get her. I come get her. She's like, "Oh no, I wanted to stay longer. Like, I didn't think you'd get here so fast," right? Like having fun. Well, today, and then recently she was supposed to go and like really, really, really did not want to go. So we didn't make her. We didn't go that day. But today we were going to try again. So today I have my nanny watching my son, and I brought my daughter to summer camp. She was saying here and there, that she didn't want to go, doesn't like summer camp. But I was like, it's going to be a short day, just a few hours. We only have 2 more days left of it. Like, we're going today, right? No, we weren't because we got there and I mean, it looked like a fun time. There was like a princess bouncy house, bounce castle. There was crafts outside. There was a bunch of other little girls like making bracelets and things, all these things that she totally loves. And it was like full heartbreak meltdown, clinged on to me, like would not leave no matter what I tried, no matter what distractions, people, kids that I tried to introduce her to. Kids were being so sweet, trying to like show her things. She wasn't having it. She just was not having it. Sorry, if you're watching this, you can see I've fully wrapped my her scrunchie actually around my arm. Um, she wasn't having it. And so finally, I was supposed to be on a Zoom call that I am initiating the Zoom call. So I had to get in and I had to let everybody on. Then I have a newborn session that I have to go to, and so the Zoom call was starting, and I was like, "I have to go now. Like, I need to leave now, I love you. I'll be back very soon, a few hours. Go have fun. Like, I have to leave now. You cannot follow me." So she went and she, like, sat on the curb, and she's crying. I had to start the Zoom meeting, like, from my phone. And then I got in my car and I like transferred it to my laptop, but like I'm not going to drive while I'm on the Zoom meeting. So in my head, it was like I was going to do drop off. I was going to get to my client's house. I was going to take the Zoom meeting for my car. Usually things aren't stacked together like so closely because typically I actually don't do sessions on Thursdays, but I needed to get them in. So um it was all lined up. And so when one thing came off, it just was a cascade of things that were like not going well, right? So she's on the curb, she's crying, she's with the counselor and another little kid. I'm like taking this Zoom meeting, but I can't drive away. Eventually, the time is ticking, and I'm like, okay, I've got to be at this newborn session in like 5 minutes. Thankfully, they only lived like 4 minutes away from her summer camp. I look over and she's still on the curb. She's still absolutely sobbing, crying. It's been like a solid 15, 20 minutes now. And the counselor, the camp counselor, the kids, they've all like left her to have some time and space or whatnot. And I mean, I'm just like, oh, I can't drive away. I'm not going to back up and just drive away now with her like sobbing on this curb by herself. Like, absolutely not. Like, I cannot do it. So it's like, well, crap, like this, wow, like a range of emotions as a mom where it's like, this I don't understand and this is really frustrating and then like now what am I gonna do? And but I couldn't leave her there. End of story. Like I couldn't leave her there. So I go and I'm like, I'm taking her, get her bag, check her out, whatever, put her in the car. She has to come to the newborn session with me. I'm 4 minutes from like this family's house. I've already texted them saying I was running a couple minutes behind. And then I tried to call to be like, hey, heads up, like got my 5-year-old with me. Here's what's going on. Like, we could push it back, but it's hard because this family, they also have a toddler. So I'm also thinking like nap time for toddler, lunch time for toddler, right? Like, I time these specifically so that toddlers will also be in the best mood during a newborn session and we don't have to worry about them melting down because they're hungry, they're tired, whatever it is. So and at this point, like, it's already time. It's already time. Like, it's all happening right then. And so it wasn't really room to give a heads up. I tried to call, they didn't answer. So I had to show up. I had to show up with my 5.5-year-old. And I was like, I get there, I tell them what's going on. I'm so sorry. It turns out their nanny is there, which actually was such a big help. I, of course, prepped my daughter of like expectations during the session, which you know how that goes. It's like, okay, I can give her my expectations all I want. Just like I can expect her to go to summer camp and sometimes that just doesn't work out, right? So they have their own feelings and their own emotions and their own plans. And so I yeah, set expectations and we go in. I told them what's going on and then we made the most out of it. And my daughter actually did really well while she was there. So I'm very thankful for that. And it still is a distraction, right? Like, even though my daughter wasn't asking things of me and she wasn't intentionally doing anything like at all to distract, their toddler, of course, was like so excited to have another kid there. And so he really like wanted to play with my daughter, right? Rather than being like fully involved in the session. But other things, he was teething as well because he's also very small. I don't even think he's fully 2 years old yet, actually. So they've got 2 under 2, which is a lot for them, right? And the baby was crying because we found out a while into it that she just didn't want the bow on her head. Like, they had a bow on and she just was finally fell asleep when they took the bow off. And then the toddler was teething, so finally at the end they gave him a little bit of medicine and that helped like right away. So it was one of those sessions where I was like, wow, like this is chaotic and like I'm not getting like the images that I would usually want to get and we're not able to do the things we usually want to do. We're all just like trying to make the most out of it. They were so wonderful and so understanding. I'm just incredibly grateful for that. I do really feel like I have just the best families and the best clients ever. And so that was it. We did it. We pulled it together the last like 5-10 minutes. We got the best images ever because the baby was asleep, her bow was off, the toddler had his medicine, so his teeth were feeling better. Also, we'd been there for like 2 hours, so probably some of the excitement of my daughter had like worn off a little bit. And thankfully my daughter did really, really well while we were there. So that is just like one of the more chaotic mornings that I have had navigating my own motherhood experience alongside running a full-time professional business, right? Because my clients' experience matters. And that's like what they're paying me for. I've learned firsthand that they're not paying me for the pictures. They're not paying me for the images that are going to get delivered in their inbox. They are paying me for the experience that they are going to receive. And when they look back at their images, they are going to remember how they felt during the session. Not even just during the time, during the session specifically, which is why it's so important, especially for these intimate early motherhood moments, right? Like, no matter what their journey was like with fertility, um, any like fear, anxiety that they've had, any feelings that they felt about like their body changes. Like I want them to look back at their images and be like, wow, like for one evening, I felt excited. I felt celebrated. I felt seen. I felt beautiful. You know what I mean? They get to have that experience during their session. Same thing with the newborn, right? Their birth experience, their nursing, their feeding experience, like it could be total chaos. And if they're just like, I've had multiple families now tell me when I left their newborn session that they like wish that I wouldn't leave because like they were the baby was the calmest they had ever been, or like all these different things. They just felt really supported and calm with me there, which is exactly what I would want, right? The last thing that I want is to come and bring chaos and stress into a family's home that has just had a newborn baby. Like that is the last thing that you want to do. So, and when it comes to these intimate motherhood moments, right? Like they deserve an environment and an experience where they feel really honored and celebrated and seen and get to have this beautiful experience that they're hoping for. No matter what their feeding journey has been like or any of those things, they get this one little pocket of time. And so it's just really, really important to provide that good experience. And sometimes on days like today, I really appreciate the grace that is given to me, knowing that I am also navigating being a mom of young children, right? So, all that's to share. Like, we do the best we can. We set expectations. We are very clear. We provide the best experience we can provide. I thankfully have a lot, I have years now of experience like working with toddlers, working with newborns, working with families. I know how to read a room and say, like, now is when they need my help with like a little bit more excitement, a little bit like, let's sing songs, let's do this, let's do that. And I know when to step in and I know when to step back. I know when to be silent. I know when to just exist and be a calm presence and let them do what they need to do because they know best, right? And that takes experience of different families, different toddlers, different situations, and a little bit of like reading the room, right? Like you want to be really aware of other people and picking up on their cues, whether it's like their body language or the way they're talking, their tone. Like you want to be able to really be observant and recognize like what people need when they need it when you're going into these vulnerable type of sessions, right? That are really meaningful. And so that kind of brings me back to the topic I really wanted to discuss today, which is capturing these intimate moments. And it's a lot of skin. I capture a lot of shower sessions, bath sessions, even just like postpartum, maybe you're still in a diaper, maybe you're just in a bra and underwear, maybe you're just in underwear, right? And there's bodily fluids and you're seeing a lot of them. You are seeing them in like their most raw state of existence, right? And you're capturing that to reflect back to them the beauty in their experience. And so, what do we do when, how do you capture that? How do you say, like, gosh, well, how do I get someone basically to be naked? Right? Like, how do I get someone to show up and be naked in my shower? And I will say, if you can put out model calls, right? And you can put out so clearly what you want to capture. You can share the whole vision, be very transparent about the vision, about why it matters to you. I'll never forget one of my favorite images ever that like won an award and everything is of one of my very best friends nursing her baby in my shower. And she was breastfeeding. And I said, can I take breastfeeding photos for you? And I just had the idea one day. And I think it's because I'm in my shower all the time. Like I take a shower with my kids pretty much every day, nurse them in there. And I actually gave birth to my son in my shower. And so one day I think I texted her and I was just like, will you come like, nurse your child in my shower. Like, you can basically be naked. And she's like, nobody else would ever ask me that. But like, of course I will do that. Like, there's also no one else who would do that for. And so she came and totally, she wore like black underwear. And that was really my first like shower session, breastfeeding shower session that I did. And then I've done many more since then for maternity, newborn, breastfeeding, motherhood sessions. Um, a birth that I photographed. She gave birth in the bathtub, and then I did a follow up motherhood session for her in her shower. And you have to put out there what you want to take more pictures of. So by building this portfolio through model calls and through also just presenting the opportunity. So on my pre-session questionnaire, I always ask like, are they comfortable showing skin? And I do say, like everything is like strategic placement. There's no full nudity. It's all very tasteful. And then so I ask right there, and I also ask, do you want to use the bath or the shower as part of your session? So they have an opportunity right then to think like, oh, maybe I do, or like hard no, or like, oh my gosh, yes, please. Like, so, anyways, and then you get to someone's house, they have an incredible bath or shower. You could be like, have they taken a bath yet? Do you want to utilize that? Like, you could bring it up then. One time during a newborn session, like, honestly, I just saw her shower and it was beautiful. And I was like, do you want to take a shower with her? Like, and I was trying to tell her like it's all tasteful, and think she was like, oh, I trust you. Like, I trust your artistic vision, all of that. Absolutely love, love, love when I get clients like that. But the way I get those clients is by showing that work, by building that trust beforehand, and by showing it regularly, right? Because I'll go back and I'll be like, gosh, it's kind of been a while since I've shared like some more shower, bath, breastfeeding sessions. I want to make sure I'm sharing those regularly, because then even if I'm booking a maternity, newborn session, family, when they see that loud and proud in my portfolio and all over the place, they know like, okay, this is the type of photographer she is. So automatically I'm going to be prepared to be more intimate. They're gonna know ahead of time, right? And they're also gonna see, oh, like these moms, like those are moms that like trusted her and felt comfortable in front of her, and they know it's not like a weird thing. They know that like I'm used to it. That's what I'm passionate about photographing. That other moms have trusted me. Like, it's actual evidence and proof, right, of trust, right there in my portfolio. And so by showing them that type of work so they know what to expect and what, type of photographs I take, building that trust ahead of time, and then offering the opportunity as much as possible, that has allowed me to capture a lot more intimacy, a lot more skin to skin, a lot more of those like real true moments, right? And they can still absolutely have photos where it's like, usually people want more than one look. So it'd be like, okay, let's do a more like modest, this is what you'd send to grandma or whoever, um, where you're not, naked, basically. And then we do the second look, right? And I usually start with the more modest look so that they can warm up and they can get comfortable. And then, taking off clothes is easier than and then putting them back on. And then they just get to be cozy and comfortable the way that they really are at home, anyways. And every year, most of the years that I've been in business, I did a group breastfeeding session in August for World Breastfeeding Month. And I also try to implement like group or just regular breastfeeding mini sessions. And I had this like passion project where I wanted this. Well, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. When I started my business, a lot of the photographers who I looked up to and I admired their work were in Australia. And all of their sessions were like naked on the beach or in like a brown wheat grass field, right? All during golden hour. So it was like they're all wearing the same colors, they're all in the same location, and they're all in the same time of day, right? And I loved it. It was so beautiful. And it took me a while to figure out like, well, why doesn't my work look like that when I'm like in all these different locations, different colored clothing, different times of day, right? It took me a while. I thought at first it was just editing, but it's so much goes into creating that consistent cohesive portfolio. But one of that, I think her name is Elise De Haas. She did, I'm pretty sure she did a group breastfeeding session, and I saw it and I loved it. I mean, right away, it was just like so impactful, so beautiful. And I was like, I would love to do something like that. So I started looking for more inspiration and came to find that there's not very much inspiration there. There's not been a whole lot of group breastfeeding sessions out there on the internet, or at least not that I could find. So that really left it open to me. So the first group breastfeeding session that I did, I knew that I wanted a few things. I knew that I wanted them to feel feel the strength, feel the power, feel the community. Like I wanted it to be impactful, and I wanted it to be diverse. I wanted it to be a very diverse group of mothers because we know that we all need representation, right? We all need to be able to see ourselves and like feel like we're seen when we want to feel like we're being represented, right? Diversity is incredibly important. And so I knew that I needed to have that in the image as well. And so the first session I did, there was diversity in both ethnic backgrounds, age of moms, age of babies, and it was in studio. And that was very much like I was still figuring myself out, my photography work. And so it was more like white gowns. They had like crowns on their heads. It just was a different style than what I would go for now. But again, this was like definitely within my first year of photography. And so I was just like figuring out my style. And so, anyways, it was great to be able to put that on. And what we did was we did a group session, everyone nursing their baby. And then we broke out and we did I did individual little micro sessions for each mom and their baby individually. And that was a lot of fun. And I'm so glad that I did that. And then the next year was like maybe like I peaked. I don't know because I'm like trying to recreate that now and struggling. The next year was incredible, incredible. I did it at somewhere called Discovery Park. If you're local to Seattle, you know where Discovery Park is. I did it during golden hour. And it was just stunning. Like it was stunning. And the group of moms, there was maybe 7 moms, 7 or 8, and so much diversity. And it was just so beautiful. And I had them in like nude colored, like matching nude color bra and underwear, like to match their skin tone. And then their babies were like either naked or in bloomers. And oh, it was perfection. It was perfection. The next year, I think I was pregnant and I was due next week, right? And it's August. And I thought for sure he was going to come early. So I didn't really schedule much of anything in August 2 years ago. And so I skipped it that year. But then last year I tried to recreate it and we went out to a mountain, and there was diversity. There wasn't as much diversity as I would have liked. And again, it was bra and underwear. They did like dresses and then they did bra and underwear, and it was kind of crazy looking. It was like really ominous. The light was wild. The light was like kind of stormy, overcast. And so we did it in front of this huge, beautiful mountain, which like could have been incredible. I photograph there all the time. It's one of my favorite locations. But the mountain was like so dark. And but then like the sun was shining like just on them. It sounds cool, but actually didn't love like the lighting scenario. I really love their individual portraits. Those turned out so beautifully. And then towards the end, the sky was like cotton candy. Actually, the end was like really magical, but the group part of it was over. It was like my very last mama who had hung around. And pardon me, there's elk in that field, like resident elk that live there. And so like the sky was like cotton candy, so beautiful. And then we look and there's like the elk are there, and one of the mama elks was like nursing her baby elk, and then my mom was nursing her baby, and it was like so insanely cool. So anyways, that was last year. So this year I wanted to do it again, right? And this year I'm like, I think I'm going to go back to Discovery Park. And honestly, like the vision just wasn't coming to life. And I'm like, I think I need to be more blunt and just be like, I finally did find, basically people who I found moms who were not white. My clientele is primarily white, and I anyways, I'm like, it's so important to have a diversity, right, in your portfolio and represent moms of all different ethnic backgrounds. So I did finally get a few moms who were minorities. I actually don't know what their ethnic background was. But the person who referred them said that they were. And anyways, but then like they wanted a nursing cover, they want to be fully clothed, which I 100% understand and I respect that. And that was just like not the vision, right? The vision is I want like to fully show breastfeeding in all of its beauty. Like it is so hard, and I want to desexualize it, and I want it to be like you should feed your baby anywhere, anytime you want. And like I wanted moms who are going to like stand there, and I want it to be like body empowering, right? Like I want it to be like really accepting and showing like the beauty of your body as it's changed, because like that can be so hard for so many of us. So I just really wanted it to be like this vision of like accepting your body, feeling like the strength and empowerment from that, nursing your baby like loudly, proudly out in the open, right? And being in community, and like a diverse community, right? And so, anyways, the vision just was not coming together this year. And so I have pushed it out a month or two. I'm still like narrowing down that date, and I'm going to be doing it. I need to be a little bit more clear about what my vision is and my why, and show more images from the past, right? And see how it will all come together. But that's really all it is. It's like you're building this trust, you're noticing the details, you're really taking your time, even just similar to the newborn session, right? Like learning when you want to observe versus when you want to direct, because it's just such a like a sensitive, vulnerable type of niche, and the experience is about them, right? And honoring that for them and what their journey has been like. And so I do all of these things. I do the breastfeeding minis, I do the group session, I share about experiences and setting those expectations, um, all to just continue to attract my ideal clients who wanted to show up and be in a bra and underwear and have that celebrated. And so one time that I do that I really love, most of these intimate like shower sessions have been at my workshops and my retreats. And so I'm already planning my next one. I actually am going to officially launch tickets on September 1st. And I know we're like getting late on the time. I always try to keep these a little bit shorter in case you're like running to and from a session. You could just listen to it on a quick drive, or like while you're folding laundry, doing the dishes, or whatever it is you need to do. So I am planning my Aligned Motherhood Photography Retreat for February. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be that first weekend in February of this upcoming year, 2027. And it's in Kingston, Washington. It's going to be at the same venue as it was last year, because it was beautiful. I mean, so gorgeous. It's so, so, so nice. And so I'm just thrilled. I'm like already coming up with I'm reaching out for like private chefs to have a private chef dinner. And my retreats are definitely equal parts rejuvenation, reflection, alignment. Like, I really want it's the beginning of the year. So it's an amazing time to just like really focus in on like, what do you want your year to look like? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your life to look like? And how do we get all of those to harmonize together? And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's like I'm reading these books and I'm doing these things, and they say, like, okay, well, take the time to visualize, take the time to journal, take the time to plan out. And then it's like, when am I going to do those things? So it's really great to have a weekend where you can just step out of that and spend some good time like immersing yourself in the vision and creating what you want life to look like for this next upcoming year. And then you get to have some creative fun, and you get to build an incredible portfolio. So we always do intimate motherhood sessions. I always include the shower and bath. There's always breastfeeding. If they're pregnant and breastfeeding, I always try to find a model that's doing that. So it's really wonderful. It's like we're going to have entertainment. We're going to have private dinner. I always love to get attendees like really thoughtful gifts that help them with that alignment and building their dream life and business alongside each other. So I'm really excited planning that in full swing so that we can keep adding these intimate, beautiful sessions to our portfolios and attracting those dream clients. So if that's something you're interested in joining me, again, I think I'm going to release tickets on September 1st. So I'll drop the link in the show notes if you want to get on the wait list and be the first to access that. Keep it a really small group. I'm only going to sell 6 tickets because I want it to be a small, intimate group where we can really support each other. We can really get close. And also, like, we're photographing inside a home. So there's limited space. I want to make sure everybody has opportunity and nobody has to feel like they're like stepping in front of someone else or anything like that. Right. So, really important. I put a lot in thought and care into how I organize those styled sessions. So that is it for now. I hope you have had a great week. I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Enjoy your weekend. And if you're liking these episodes, please do me a favor and follow. If they're like whatever platform you're on, I know Spotify has like a follow, you can rate and all the things. And always you can send me a message and tell me what you'd like to hear about and talk about next. Thanks so much for being here, Aligned Photographers.